Gonna play to 100,000 on Christmas mode. There's a couple of differences between the Christmas mode and the regular mode. If you haven't, there's no movable platforms in the Christmas mode. There's no propeller heads, and there's no force shields. They added in two different monster areas that are pretty difficult, more difficult than anything in the regular game. This makes it pretty impossible to get a high score. Oh, they also added in this boss area. He's pretty easy. It's also a little harder because the snowballs, they don't go near as high up as the regular shots do in the game. The platforms are sort of the same color, they have slightly different color tones. That part of the game doesn't really affect me that much. One thing I recently noticed while playing, this only really affects you if you've gotten like 200,000 or so, is that the areas are always in the same order. Like this exploding platform area will always be right after that monster area I just passed. So I'm not sure exactly how many areas there is, somewhere between 20 and 30. It's like this exploding platform area will always be after that one I just passed. All the areas are always going to be in the same order. So if you have an area that's tricky, you can be ready for it by what's coming up. And they repeat starts at about 20,000 when the first area shows up, and they repeat about every 90,000 or so, about. Of course, you won't get to see them repeat because I'm only going to play to 100,000, but This is one of the new areas they added in, which can be really tricky sometimes if you're not ready for it. I just love the whole look of it. Well, I got lucky I passed that area without dying, actually. I like the whole look of it, but it's much more challenging. The farthest I've made it, I haven't even made it past 400,000 in this mode, which isn't even a quarter of my high score now, so that's why I stopped playing it as much. Of course, I'm not going to go for a record for a long time now, so maybe I'll just play Christmas mode every once in a while since I know I'm not going to make it too far. It also takes a little longer since they don't have propeller hats. Can't really wear one because he has on a Santa hat. And it gets annoying at the higher levels since the jetpacks tend to stop appearing somewhere between 100 and 120,000 is when you get your last jetpack, so on normal mode you'll get a bunch of propeller hats. In this mode you'll just be without any power-ups. Unless you consider the spring shoes a power-up, but I just like to do this area like this because it's kind of boring and it makes it more interesting. Here's 100,000. Not going to bother playing past it. Well, I've already ended the game by going into the area, but